Hello, Doterra family. I'm Rob Young, and it's a pleasure to be with you, or at least imagine being with you today. And today I've been asked to talk a little bit about some healthy lifestyle habits that will help us be stronger in the season. I'm not a physician, but my task today is to try to help simplify some of these core concepts to make it easier for people to understand. If you're part of our Doterra family, this isn't the first time you've heard me or others talk about this, because these are the core principles upon which Doterra is founded. Again, we have a philosophy at Doterra of a healthy lifestyle, and I'm happy to, again, review that with you today. I'm going to keep this simple. I'm going to imagine that maybe your sixth grader is home from school sitting next to you, and hopefully it's something that they can learn from, because these are important principles that we can teach our children and really will help us for a lifetime. Today, though, we're going to be using what we call our Doterra lifestyle philosophy diagram, and we're going to talk about this diagram today. The diagram includes 6 steps in total. There are 4 lifestyle steps and then 2 healthcare steps. And I'm going to spend more of my time today talking about these lifestyle steps that are so important to us on our health. Today in our discussion, we are going to be using the 80-20 rule. In fact, this whole diagram, this whole philosophy is based off this 80-20 rule, which says that 80% of effects can be attributed to 20% of the causes. Meaning, if we really focus on the most important things, we're going to get 80% of the benefits. And that's what our philosophy is based on. So the foundational and first step of our philosophy begins with eating right. And when we talk about eating right, we talk about 2 basic principles. And we call those the 2 Q's of eating right. The first Q is about quantity, and the second Q is quality. Now, when we talk about eating, why do we have to eat? We eat because we need energy for life activity, all right? When we eat food, our body converts those calories that we eat and combines it with the oxygen we breathe. It produces an energy chemical called ATP, but that drives all activity in our life. We can't go too long without eating. We can't go very long at all without breathing, but we can't go very long without eating. So we must eat. We all know we have to eat. The issue is, though, many people eat too much, and we have to be careful. A healthy lifestyle includes enough calories to sustain activity, but not too many calories, because our body is real good at storing those extra calories. There's something that we say at Doterra, that we eat to live, we don't live to eat. And while I love eating and find great pleasure in eating as much as the next guy, we do need to make a consideration that our consumption of food is equivalent to our energy requirements. And if we want to eat more, then we need to be more active, okay? And the second half of eating right is quality. As important as how much we eat is what we are eating. And we might want to make sure, as a foundation of a healthy lifestyle, that we have a diet that's high in fresh fruits and vegetables. We've got to lower that sugar. We want to increase our protein intake, and we want to limit our fats to make sure that those fats are healthy. And this is why during the season sometimes, when we have limited choices on the different foods that we eat, we want to make sure that we're constantly striving to seek out a lot of those fresh whole foods. And it's also prudent to take our Lifelong Vitality Pack as a part of your foundation of eating right, okay? Now the second step we want to talk about today is exercising. All right, now we've eaten that wonderful food that supports our activity. We want to make sure that we have regular exercise as a healthy lifestyle program. And there's 3 areas we want to focus on with exercise. First one is we want to have aerobic exercise. And that's activity like running and swimming and jumping, biking, where we're getting our heart pumping and our lungs breathing. And we want to make sure that we have good, sustained aerobic activity on a regular basis. The second one is our strength exercises. Okay? We're talking about resistance with our muscles. And that resistance, when we put that resistance on our bones, that also strengthens our bones. Activities that involve strength are those resistance activities that put stress on our muscles and even our bones. Those are activities where we either pull or we push, and that can be, again, weights or bands or even our own body weight. But we want to focus, we want to have regular strength exercise and activity. And finally, and the one that I sometimes forget, is we want to look at flexibility. And that is, as we age and over time, it's important that we continue to participate in flexibility programs to keep our joints and the connective tissues healthy and stretched and active in our bodies. It's important that we regularly participate in all three of these areas of physical activity. Now, that can happen naturally if you're in a profession where you're using your muscles or you're using your heart on a regular basis. But a lot of times in our modern world, where we sit in offices all day or we're not as active as we need to be, then we have to go out and figure out ways to provide these opportunities to keep our bodies healthy. If we don't exercise and if we don't eat correctly, that leads to a condition that we call obesity. If we do these things, we'll have a lean body mass, but if we don't, it leads to weight gain and obesity, which is a contributing factor to many, many degenerative conditions, including suppressed immune system that is so important during seasonal loads. It's important that we spend a lifetime of eating right and exercising so our body is at full capacity in that regard. Now let's go to our next step, which is rest and managing stress. Now there's two things here. It may seem the same, but those include both sleep and stress management, okay? And to make this simple, sleep is what we do when we don't have conscious thought, when we're asleep, where stress management is really those techniques where we're managing stress, but we're conscious, we are aware, and they're both critically important. Let me first talk a little bit about sleep. When we talk about sleep, just like we talked about in eating right, we need to both have enough sleep, but we also have to talk about the quality of sleep. Sleep plays a very important function for us in our lives. It is a time for us to rest physically, but more importantly, it's a time for our brain to rest. During the day, our brains are processing millions of data points and processing those, and we're thinking about those data points every single day. But when we go to sleep at night is when our brain takes that time, in computer language, to defrag, right? It's cleaning out your operation system, your memory, so it's separating what's important from what's not important, what it needs to remember from what it doesn't need to remember, and it's a cleansing time for your brain. So when you're awake after your sleep period, now your brain has the capacity to process, again, the stimulus that is constantly entering your brain during the day. And that's why sleep is so critically important in this step of resting and managing stress. But beyond sleep, we also have to consider, what are we doing when we are awake to manage stress? Because there's a lot of emotional stress and mental stress in the world. And so what can we do to manage stress? Well, part of the answer there, part of that 20 of the 80-20 is mindful meditation. Okay, we need to take the time in our woke hours to meditate and do some intentional thinking about our thoughts and what is stressing us out, right? Now, a lot of times people will describe that stress as being fear. So what is fear? Well, fear is a belief that something's going to transpire, something scary or undesirable is going to transpire in the future. And one of the ways we can, in our mindful meditation, one of the ways that we can manage fear and other stressful thoughts and emotions is to try to focus on the present, okay? If we focus on the present and things we can control in the present, then we can reduce fear through some good discipline of our mind. Most people in the world, well, many people, I should say, live between the fear of the future and the regret of the past. And they go back and forth between the past and the future over and over again. What we need to do when we're managing our stress in our mindful meditation is we need to focus on the present. We need to control the controllable. And the only thing we control is the present. Okay? We can maybe change the the predictive future, but we really can't control the future. And fear is simply a matter of being afraid of something that might happen to you. I might get sick. Well, you can be afraid of that, but if you're too afraid of that and you dwell too much in the future, it's actually going to lower your defenses against getting sick, okay? So we want to both get appropriate amounts of sleep, quality of sleep, and we also want to focus on the present and control the controllable in our mindful meditation. We want to do that on a daily basis in order to manage stress in our lives, okay? And then finally, we have this step that is reduce toxic load. And I know that's an important subject on a lot of people's minds. So why do we have reduce toxic load as our fourth step in our lifestyle portion of our diagram? Is it really that important? Why do we consider that a fundamental part of the 80-20 rule? Well, if we eat right and we exercise and we rest and manage our stress appropriately, that's going to put us in a great position to be healthy and strong. But we still have to go out in the world and interact with each other, and we have an environment in which we live that we can't control, and we're forced to go out and interact with that environment. So when we say reduce toxic load, what we're saying is we want to reduce the load of those toxic or harmful influences in our environment on our bodies. All right? Now, there's two primary categories when we talk about things that are toxic to our bodies, and we can put those in one category. We could say microbes, infectious microbes, and the other category is toxic chemicals. And those are things that with which we interact in our environment that could cause debilitating health situations in our bodies. Now, to understand how to reduce toxic load, we talk about exposure pathways. And exposure pathways are all the different ways that these toxic influencers can get into us, can affect our bodies. All right? Now, when we think about those pathways, a simple way to remember that is all the entries in your body and all the exits in your body. Anything that's open to the world in either of those directions are the pathways through which these toxic influencers can enter our body. So what then can we do to reduce our toxic load? We've talked about this before too. There's the first thing we want to do is we want to avoid these toxins. Okay, now our body does a pretty good job of this, but there's ways we can help, okay? When we talk about infectious microbes, one of the big 80-20 rules is wash your hands, prepare your food correctly, limit your interaction with people that are sick, okay? So the first thing that we want to do is avoid those, try to remove those toxic influencers in the first place from our environment. But the second thing, there's still going to be things that get to us. So the second things we need to talk about is we need to talk about to prepare for those things, or help our body prepare for fighting those toxins, okay? Now, our body does this every day. We are exposed to all sorts of toxins every day. Our body has this wonderful capacity to put up with a certain amount of that toxic load. But what we want to do is make sure we're doing everything to reduce that toxic load, to leave all of the resources of our body available to fight off anything that we can't avoid, okay? And again, our body is prepared to do that in some amazing ways. But how can we help prepare our bodies to do that? Well, it goes back to eating right, exercising, resting, and managing stress. There's many studies showing the lack of sleep is tied directly to your ability to manage your toxic load and fight off infection and handle some of these environmental negative influences in your life, okay? So we practice a healthy lifestyle to help prepare our bodies when exposure to these toxins are unavoidable, okay? So that's our fourth step, is reducing toxic load. Now finally, we have these last two steps that we call our healthcare steps, and those are informed self-care and proactive medical care. We live in a great time in the world where we have wonderful medical advances, and we're so grateful for our medical and healthcare professionals that are stepping up on the front line when it comes to keeping us healthy and strong. And they provide excellent service, wonderful emergency care, wonderful care of the chronic and the aged and the dying. But one of the things our healthcare system is not designed for is all of the little stuff. So our philosophy also includes a step where we need to take responsibility for our own health and well-being. And there are many things that we can do before we have to access our wonderful medical care system. In fact, if we don't learn how to do those things, our medical system is going to be overwhelmed, and it cannot sustain everybody not taking care of themselves. So what does self-care include? Well, it starts with living a healthy lifestyle. And then it's just knowledge about knowing how to do other things when it comes to taking care of yourself. And of course, we do our best to live a healthy lifestyle. We're informed on taking care of ourselves. And when we need it, then we have the wonderful option of going and getting our support of our wonderful healthcare professionals. So that is our philosophy at Doterra. It's not only our philosophy during seasonal requirements, but it's our philosophy for living. It's something that we believe that if everybody makes a commitment to this, they'll live longer, they'll have more vitality, more strength, they'll be able to perform better, and be able to push off those degenerative conditions that really we don't have to suffer because of our poor lifestyle choices. Of course, Doterra has a number of products that supports this wellness philosophy, and the wonderful essential oils, in addition to the other products that we have, are wonderful gifts from Mother Nature to help us in our best efforts to live a healthy lifestyle. So that is a simple overview of our wellness philosophy at Doterra. Hopefully it's helpful to you. I know these are principles that we've discussed before. They're very core principles, but if we make a commitment to living these principles, it really will have an impact on the longevity and vitality in each of our lives. Thank you for your time today, and I wish you and your families health and happiness.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex DeBell, Director of Nutraceuticals and Innovation at Doterra, and I'm excited to speak with you today and introduce a couple of new products that we are thrilled for you to have. These are VM Complex and XE Omega. Now, as part of the introduction of these products, I want to explain some of the background of how they came to be, and then some of the key benefits and unique features of both of these products. We've been working on bringing these products to Brazil for the past couple of years, and it's been a really challenging process. It's one that we started down the road, and we realized that had we continued, we would have had to cut corners and make compromises on quality, and we were simply unwilling to do that. And so we had to start over. And that's part of our pursuit of purity. But that is what has led us to the products that we have today, that we can stand behind with full confidence. And we're thrilled for you to have these products. Now, when we talk about foundational nutrition, and specifically VM Complex and XE Omega, and the micronutrients that they're delivering that serve as foundational nutrition, I want to explain why it's so important that we provide our bodies with all of these micronutrients that these two products offer. To begin the conversation, I'd like you to think rhetorically about the question: with so many advances in the sciences and healthcare, have you ever wondered why it is that so many find themselves in poor health? Now, of course, the answer to that question is individual. And it includes many factors that are related to each of us individually. But there's something that we can all do uniformly to benefit our overall health and wellness. And that is to make sure that our bodies have all of the adequate micronutrients that they need to thrive. And so when we talk about our bodies and the processes that are benefited from these products, we're talking about proper immune function, we're talking about energy metabolism, maintenance of bone density, cellular regeneration, proper cognitive function, proper enzyme function. These are all things that are critical processes that are benefited from the vitamins and the minerals that we deliver in VM Complex. And then of course, when we talk about XE Omega, we are including in there a complement of omega fatty acids, both EPA and DHA, as well as land-based fatty acids. And we're also including a unique blend of carotenoids, specifically astaxanthin, zeaxanthin, lutein, and lycopene. And they have amazing protective properties. Some of these compounds that we're sourcing from plants, this carotenoid blend, are some of the most powerful protective compounds that are available to us. So between these two products, you're getting a full suite of vitamins and minerals, fatty acids, and carotenoids, and aromas. And these are really providing a whole host of health benefits. There's literally not a physiological system in our bodies that isn't impacted from these micronutrients. We deliver a full collection of all the letter vitamins, vitamins A, B, D, C, E, even K1. Hi everyone, I'm Alex DeBell, Director of Nutraceuticals and Innovation at Doterra. And I'm excited to speak with you today and introduce a couple of new products that we are thrilled for you to have. These are VM Complex and XE Omega. Now, as part of the introduction of these products, I want to explain some of the background of how they came to be, and then some of the key benefits and unique features of both of these products. We've been working on bringing these products to Brazil for the past couple of years, and it's been a really challenging process. It's one that we started down the road, and we realized that had we continued, we would have had to cut corners and make compromises on quality, and we were simply unwilling to do that. And so we had to start over. And that's part of our pursuit of purity. But that is what has led us to the products that we have today, that we can stand behind with full confidence. And we're thrilled for you to have these products. Now, when we talk about foundational nutrition, and specifically VM Complex and XE Omega, and the micronutrients that they're delivering that serve as foundational nutrition, I want to explain why it's so important that we provide our bodies with all these micronutrients that these two products offer. To begin the conversation, I'd like you to think rhetorically about a question. With so many advances in the sciences and healthcare, have you ever wondered why it is that so many find themselves in poor health? Now, of course, the answer to that question is individual. And it includes many factors that are related to each of us individually. But there's something that we can all do uniformly to benefit our overall health and wellness. And that is to make sure that our bodies have all the adequate micronutrients that they need to thrive. And so when we talk about our bodies and the processes that are benefited from these products, we're talking about proper immune function, we're talking about energy metabolism, maintenance of bone density, cellular regeneration, proper cognitive function, proper enzyme function. These are all things that are critical processes that are benefited from the vitamins and the minerals that we deliver in VM Complex. And then of course, when we talk about XE Omega, we are including in there a complement of omega fatty acids, both EPA and DHA, as well as land-based fatty acids. And we're also including a unique blend of carotenoids, specifically astaxanthin, zeaxanthin, lutein, and lycopene. And they have amazing protective properties. Some of these compounds that we're sourcing from plants, this carotenoid blend, are some of the most powerful protective compounds that are available to us. So between these two products, you're getting a full suite of vitamins and minerals, fatty acids, and carotenoids, and aromas. And these are really providing a whole host of health benefits. There's literally not a physiological system in our bodies that isn't impacted from these micronutrients. We deliver a full collection of all the letter vitamins, vitamins A, B, D, C, E, even K1 and K2. We're delivering methylated folate, and methylated cobalamin in their most bioavailable forms. On the mineral side, we also deliver chelated minerals, a full suite of chelated minerals that are bound to amino acids that allow your body to more readily recognize and assimilate the minerals. Same on the vitamin side. You're getting the most bioavailable forms of vitamins. On the soft gel, the XC Omega, you'll recognize that we've kept that product in a small, convenient to use capsule size. Now, even though this capsule for a fish oil product is relatively small, we haven't cut any corners on the amount of nutrients that we're providing. We still provide a balanced 300 milligrams of EPA and 300 milligrams of DHA. And we're able to do this because we're using a higher potency fish oil. So on both of these products, we have a 4 capsule serving, but we've gone to great lengths to maintain the most bioavailable, highest quality nutrient forms, and to keep these capsules in a convenient to use format and size. So you should be using these products as part of your daily routine to thrive both inside and out and to live your life to the fullest.